Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today is episode number 7 of Geeks Drop the Gauntlet. My name is J-Rad and this is...
Reek.
Alright, Game of Thrones. Today's
My
episode...
junk's still intact.
Today's episode is going to be a little bit different from the norm of what we have been doing. Today we are bringing back the age-old Marvel vs. DC classic, but with a slight twist.
Indubitably. We are going to have his 5 Marvel street level characters versus my 5 DC characters.
Street level
characters. Fine. But
Street
I
level.
think we need to establish what street level really means.
Yes, I agree. So there were a few things I thought about when we first discussed setting this up. When we chose street level characters, I kind of came up with a few things that I think classify what a street level hero is. Number 1 to me was power level.
Yeah.
So obviously power level is like a street level character for Marvel. Would that be Thor? Not necessarily. I don't think he's going to be someone who would, like you mentioned before when we were bringing this up, would he stop a purse snatching? Probably not. He's got bigger fish to fry.
He would stop a purse snatching, but I don't think he's going to be
Well, he's got
there.
bigger fish to fry.
Right, exactly.
He's an Avenger, and also, let's get to that power level. He's extremely powerful, right? Like, extremely powerful compared to what I would consider on the street level, which would be like let's take Daredevil as a good example.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some powers, yes, but can he lift a car over his head, type deal? No. There are some exceptions though, and we'll get into that.
Yep. The next thing we need to talk about is what villains do they fight? So if you can see this character regularly breaking into a warehouse and stopping some people from loading some weapons onto a truck, that's probably a street level character. Yeah. If they're fighting Thanos, probably not. So we're not talking about the people that are the first on the list whenever there's recruitment to stop Galactus. We're talking about the people that are maintaining order generally on the streets and in their neighborhoods.
And yeah, definitely we're going to be considering city level threats.
Yes.
When we talk about villains. Like, a classic would be like Spider-Man and the Lizard trying to do something to New York City.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Type deal. Another thing, this is the third thing that we came up with, was their first introduction into comics. And we're using that because, as we know, throughout the millennia of comics, different writers will write characters different ways. So we kind of are doing a first introduction, as in, maybe a character that was first introduced and mostly deals with city level things got what do you call it? Signed on, recruited to the Avengers to stop Galactus, something like that. But
case in point, Spider-Man. Spider-Man is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He stopped crimes from happening. A lot of times he was just fighting regular street thugs. But as we've seen in the MCU, he was also front line in taking down Thanos.
Right. That's the example that we're going with. But when he was first introduced, what was he? Was he first introduced in space fighting aliens off from interplanetary wars? No. He was introduced as your little Brooklyn or Queens kid that
Brooklyn. You almost went Captain
I know.
America.
I almost went Captain America. But you know what I mean? He was just that kid who was protecting that city where he grew up. So that's kind of what we're going with. So in my opinion, being that there are some exceptions, if you have a character that has all 3 of these that we talked about, power level, villains they regularly face, and their first introduction, they're definitely street level if they hit all 3. And then there are a few exceptions that will hit 2 of the 3, and they're still included. Prime case again would probably be Spider-Man due to his power level. Can he lift a car over his head? Yes, he is technically 10-ton character. So, but he hit the other 2. So therefore,
you have a few that you have access to that I'm sure you will choose.
There was a couple that I thought of that could work, and I chose not to include them.
Bah! I thought you pressed the advantage.
No,
okay.
Because I chose most of my characters are human level, like peak human level type deal. There's only one that isn't right now, and you probably could guess who that is. Yeah. But I do have a 6th one in the wings. Waiting
just in case.
Do some stupid shit.
So we picked. He knows me too well. We picked 5 characters. We picked a 6th character just to counteract what we think the other person is going to do on a dumb level. So we have the sixth one just waiting in the wing. And if we don't choose it, we'll tell you who it was anyway.
Right.
But and I'm sure that I had to pick 6 just because he's probably going to throw out half of my choices anyway. But I'm going to try.
Are we diving in?
Let's do this thing.
Now, I know we had briefly spoke this before. Are we going to do all 5 up front? We can do 1 and 1.
Let's do all 5 up front.
Okay.
And
do
then,
we want to rock, paper,
and then,
scissors? See who goes first?
yes, let's do it. Let's
All
do
right.
it. Let's start out the way it's supposed to be started
Let's
out.
do it.
1, 2, 3.
All right.
Oh yeah!
All right. Finally. Only took 6 weeks.
All right, here we
Start
go.
us out. Actually, going first is the bad thing.
We've got to set the stage. So Intergang and AIM have been robbing banks recently to fund their new super weapon that has been nearly completed. It will plunge the city into infinite sunlight.
Oh, God.
Rest in peace, vampires. And no more shadows and night means no more street-level heroes can rely on darkness for advantage.
We need our heroes to save
This
us.
must be stopped by all means
Absolutely.
necessary. Both Marvel and DC teams have intel locating the next bank that will be hit, and they will show up at the same time, but only one team will be the one to stop this evil. Why the hell is this fight happening?
You know what?
I don't know. There's been dumber reasons in comics.
You made it sound good, though. I'm invested.
Both teams arrive in a large alley outside of the targeted bank across the street. The alley is located between 2 large buildings, and only a couple of old cars and trash cans litter this alleyway. And the first person to emerge?
Your choice.
Batman.
Of course.
Of
You knew that
course
was
it's
coming.
Batman.
I know, of
He's the
course.
obvious choice,
Yeah,
and we're probably
absolutely.
going to see much more of his family as we're moving
I
forward.
get it. I knew that was coming. For sure.
Now, are we strictly going heroes?
Well, I chose heroes only. I thought we were going heroes, but let's hear what you got. Let's hear it.
Because I feel like there could be some people taking advantage of the darkness.
Cassandra Cain.
And I would like to throw out Prometheus.
Oh. Okay.
He is a villain.
I was gonna say.
I do feel like if something were to take over a city and cast it into sunlight, he might be interested in a possible team up. If you throw this out, it's okay. If you're not familiar with Prometheus, the original Prometheus is an unnamed character. Like, he doesn't have an alter ego.
Yeah.
He is the son of 2 hippie spree killers. Think like natural born killers. And the cops killed his parents. And so he then has a vendetta against the police, and he uses the money that his parents stole and stashed in different caches all over the place to fund his operations. He goes into training with several different combat styles, including some place in Tibet in the mountains where they do really unique training. Anyway, he is the exact opposite of Batman, but the exact same as Batman.
Right.
Different origin, motivation.
Here's my thing. That will either include him or not. Can you name right now off the top of your head one thing that he's done heroic? That was a heroic thing. Because there are anti-heroes that definitely have done villainous things. Name one thing that he did that was heroic, and we'll include it. If not, then he is 100% a straight villain, and we're done.
He didn't kill himself when his parents... Okay, fine.
I got it. Butters, I got it.
Dang it. Okay. Then I am going to do another one.
Okay, yeah, you have, by all means. Bring in your 6th.
This isn't the 6th.
Oh,
this
okay.
is the 2nd.
Okay.
This is the 2nd. Prometheus is out. Prometheus is out. Deathstroke?
He again is mostly known for being a villain.
Okay, yes. He is. He has had some anti-hero things.
He has, I'll give you that.
And admittedly, he is more of a villain, but he has single-handedly defeated Green Lantern, Hawkman,
the Justice League, essentially.
Green Arrow, Flash, Black Canary, and Zatanna in Identity Crisis 3. And a lot of people think that it's a big pile of crap that he did that anyway.
I know.
However,
it goes to show his level.
He's Batman level intelligence, combat strategy, fighting ability.
Without the constraint of not killing.
Right. He has
care.
no qualms about
Doesn't
that.
care.
But he also has a healing factor, which I may need because I feel like some of my people are going to get punched really hard.
I'll allow it.
Okay,
Only-
Deathstroke. I'll take it.
Only, not because I like you, but only because I like him as a character. Deathstroke's
All right.
freaking cool.
So Slade's in.
Slade Wilson is in.
Isn't that weird that Wade
Yeah,
Wilson?
Wade Wilson. Yeah, I know.
Deathstroke existed first, by the way.
I know, which was actually shocking, because I thought Deadpool was first, and then I actually, when did I look that? Maybe when the first movie came out, Deadpool, and I was like, yeah, he was first. Wait, and I looked it up. I was like, oh, he wasn't. So.
Okay, so I've
All right,
got
so there's
Batman, Deathstroke,
Okay, next.
Green Arrow.
Okay, I knew Green Arrow was
I
gonna be
needed
there.
an archer. I needed somebody who's going to throw some toxic arrows or punching arrows or whatever. The difference between Green Arrow and Hawkeye, who you may pick, I don't know,
Don't know.
is
I don't know
that
either.
you could get shot with a punching bag glove arrow.
Absolutely.
So,
Strick arrows.
yes.
Yeah, you shoot an arrow and it just goes
1, 2, 3.
Sprinkles.
Yes. All right, so here we go with the Bat
that's
family.
3. Fourth? Nightwing.
Damian Wayne
Okay, you went with
Robin.
Damian. All right.
The reason I picked him is I'm going to need somebody to counteract Daredevil.
Okay.
Daredevil is a ninja, essentially.
Yeah.
He moves exceptionally quickly.
Yep.
And Damian Wayne is a ninja.
Yep.
He was trained by Talia al Ghul and Ra's al Ghul, and so I need somebody to counteract
He's also 3.5 years old and immature, but
He's like 14.
all I gotta do.
Would Daredevil hit a kid?
Probably because he doesn't have to see it.
Truth. Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? All he has to do is spout some stuff and just trigger him, and then Damian Wayne's gonna get all mad, and then it's over.
Right. Okay. Great. All right, and my last street level hero
Fifth hero.
is a quiet, unassuming police detective from Middleton named John Jones. Don't worry about him. He's just a cop. Not
The UFC fighter?
Nothing to. Yes, just he's the UFC fighter. This crime's in his jurisdiction, so John Jones is here to stop the crime.
Get that Martian out of here.
He's a police detective. All right, fine. Can it at least be covered by ace reporter Clark Kent?
Oh, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Fine. Then my last choice is Dinah Lance, the Black Canary.
Black Canary. And you know what's awesome about that? I guessed her.
Because she is my
She's
only
powerful.
ace in the hole. However,
That was
the
my
Canary
sound.
Cry in comics has been.
It's
They
extremely
estimate
powerful.
that it can shatter the planet.
Yeah.
It has
Extremely
definitely
powerful.
shattered Steel, and she has dropped Superman
Superman.
to his knees.
Yeah.
So
Would you
here's
use
hoping.
it?
Here's hoping that she doesn't get hit in the throat.
I was gonna say, would she even use it? Because I feel like the sound might knock out multiple people, even on your own team. Is that a risk you're willing to take?
Batman knows that she's on the team,
That's true.
and he's got his bat plugs in. Bat plug?
I'm glad it was plural because I was about to say something.
He's got his bat plug and his earplugs in.
Well, he's
Anyway,
safe
we're
from a
gonna
rectal
move
exam.
forward.
All right.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
let's
this is gonna
move
be
on.
awful.
All right. Now I know why he wears the underwear on the outside. All right. This is bad. Okay, well, I guess it's my turn now. So, Marvel. So when you think of Marvel, who's one of the greatest Marvel heroes? Let's just get it over with. Number one,
Aquaman.
Spider-Man.
Oh.
Spider-Man's number one. So I have chosen Spider-Man. He is, obviously, when you think of Marvel, he's the classic, probably one of the best superheroes Marvel's ever created. And as we mentioned earlier, he is, fortunately for me, city-level hero because I'd say 80 to 90% of his antics takes place in New York City. There's a bunch of villains from Kingpin all the way up to, Green Goblin, pick people. They're all localized mostly in New York City. That's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
He protects New York. So I had to include Spider-Man. If you're not familiar with him, I'm not going to say anything because he should be. And he is probably one of the more powerful characters that all of us have mentioned. Her scream is amazing, but I'm just saying he's probably up there
Strength levels,
we have
100%.
strength, his agility, his speed, his reflexes are off the charts. You know what I mean? In fact, I believe one comic said that it's like 40 times that of like an Olympic level athlete. He has dodged bullets being fired like a meter away from him. He's insanely powerful. So that's
spider sense that
can anticipate. It's cool. I was actually going to do some crap to you, and I was going to be like, Spider-Man, Peter Parker. My second one is Spider-Man.
No,
Ben Reilly.
No, Miles Morales.
Third one is Spider-Man, Miles Morales. And just go down the list. Fourth one is Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman. And just go down the list. I was going to do it, but I won't do it. I won't.
You have so many characters.
I have so many characters to choose from.
And you go with Spider-Man.
So number two.
Okay.
I'll keep it real.
Okay.
I chose Moon Knight.
All right.
The reason I chose Moon Knight is while he is also, in my opinion, a street level character. In fact, he has been known to not have any superpowers per se. He doesn't have super strength, can't lift a car and throw it at someone, nothing like that. The reason I chose him though is number one is he does have quite an extensive combat history. He is extremely skilled at hand-to-hand fighting, but kind of what puts him a step above, I think, some of the others, and my counter to Batman in terms is his suit. Mm-hmm. His suit is insanely cool. And not only, it actually was mentioned that there's multiple variations of his suit throughout comics and all that, but a lot of the more recent stuff with him has been his suit is made of adamantium, made of carbananas. I don't know. Yeah, carbananas. It's like some carbonanium something.
Banana point pen.
I just remember it saying
banana.
ballpoint banana. Right.
Precisely.
But and that has been known to apparently be as strong as adamantium or almost as strong, but flexible and all that. So it's like he's got a suit that's on the level of Batman's, but maybe even higher in terms of just suit, not the person inside of it, but I'm saying the suit.
Okay.
Think adamantium, being able to withstand pretty much anything, bullets, anything. He also has gauntlets that can fire these moon-shaped. He's just got tech.
He's got moon-shaped.
He's got
boomerangs to go against the batarangs.
Batarangs. So he's pretty much going to be kind of an offset. And if you really think about it, you have the Dark Knight and the White Knight essentially, because he's moon, he's all white, he's all black. Truth. So we've got ourselves a little bit of a showdown. And if the city's
plunged into permanent sunlight, he's obsolete.
Who? Batman?
He's just night.
Oh, he's just night. That's right. So that's my number 2. I chose Moon Knight.
All right.
Number 3, I chose Blade.
Ooh.
Blade is also, in my opinion, and you feel free to throw stuff out there if you want in terms of like you don't believe it, whether he's city level or not. But I think Blade is a city level character. If you don't know Blade too well, he is a half vampire, half human. Won't go into super details, but the essential thing you need to know is he has all the vampire powers without the weaknesses. He can walk around in sunlight. That's why
they call him the Daywalker.
The Daywalker. He has super strength. Now again, not like Spider-Man level where he's a 10-ton character.
Yeah, I think he enlists a couple thousand pounds.
In the comics, I think he's a 1, maybe a 2-ton character max, but I think he's about a 1-ton character who can live about 2,000 pounds.
Yeah. And he's going to be played by Mahershala Ali, who's one of the coolest actors.
I'm actually really looking forward to. That's going to be stellar. But I chose Blade because not only does he have that strength, he also has a healing factor. You mentioned Deathstroke because of healing factor. Hi, Butters. I chose Blade because of his healing factor. There is a comment made by Wolverine in the comics where he was impressed with Blade's healing factor and said, wow, it's almost... Oh, I thought he was pulling the cable. He said it was almost as good as his. Now, Wolverine's probably known, besides Deadpool, to have probably the best healing factor in the Hulk. But point is, they're up there with high-level healing factors. So let's say Blade is a step below. You're still talking about a hell of a healing factor. Then he's got durability, he's got agility, he's got strength, and he's got speed. Pretty good character. So I chose Blade.
I'm in my head trying to figure out who I would pair up against who.
Now, 4th on my list, I believe I've named 3. 4th on my list, I've had to pull in an expert hand-to-hand fighter in case Batman gets through Moon Knight, because I think he may or may not. We'll see. But so I chose an expert hand-to-hand fighter. Now, I believe that this guy's street level. I almost chose, I'll tell you, Shang-Chi, but I didn't because of while I believe he is street level, like in his just straight karate form,
Yeah, when
he's
he doesn't
also
have
known to have the rings of power. We'll call he's got the 10 rings. He's been involved in a lot of extracurricular city activities outside of the
where
city.
he can hold off the Hulk at that level.
So after reviewing his, I thought it's probably a 50-50 and you could throw it out and even I would throw it out. So I didn't choose him. So I chose Iron Fist. The reason I chose Danny Rand was because he also has shown considerable hand-to-hand fighting.
Wait, the Finn Jones Iron Fist?
Can we not? Can we not bring that up, please? Let's not talk about that. But not only is he a very extremely skilled hand-to-hand martial artist who is extremely good, he also has the ability to channel his chi, and he's known, his name's Iron Fist. Let's just throw it out of the bag here. He's known for channeling his chi in a fist and be able to punch. He knocked out Colossus before in the comics with that punch. That's a crazy, crazy powerful punch. But that's not all he's known for. He can summon his chi. He can heal himself with it. He's done it to augment his speed and strength. There's quite a few. While he can't now, he won't augment himself to Spider-Man levels, he can still push himself above peak human, which I, again, need. Number 4, done. Number 5, you would think I'd be bringing in Luke Cage, maybe. You would think.
You should.
I'd be bringing in Thor.
Thor?
I'm just kidding. So what I decided to do...
A quiet, unassuming construction guy.
I was gonna say, I just got this guy in the corner with glasses who's wearing a purple shirt. Pretty sure his name is Bruce, and I thought, hey, Bruce Wayne. I'll bring Bruce in. So
he's a scientist. He got mixed up in
What?
all. He's a nerd.
What can he do? All right, so last but not least, I've named 4. My 5th character, I brought him up last because you freaking guessed it already. It's Daredevil.
Yep.
Daredevil's my 5th and final character. Daredevil is probably, besides Spider-Man, in my opinion, Marvel's #1 city level hero.
Yeah, he is the epitome of the street level.
He is the epitome of street level, and he is not necessarily super powered in terms of like Spider-Man, but he does have powers. He's blind, but he has, his other senses are augmented beyond human, and he essentially has like echolocation. He's got, I mean, they talked about it to a point in comics where the twitch of a muscle fiber moving to see the punch. He can hear that. He can see it essentially, and that's why he's actually given Spider-Man a bit of a hard time once, multiple times actually. So I chose Daredevil. The issue that I'm running into with Daredevil, well, let's go from there. That's our 5 because I have a bad issue that Daredevil gets knocked out almost immediately with something. Canary cry. But that's my 5.
Do you feel you need to change any after you've heard my list and I've heard your list?
There's one I want to bring this up because this is gonna be my 6th, and you're gonna throw it out. But I believe she is street level. She has done, this is almost like Shang-Chi where it's been a 50-50 split.
Oh no, if it's Black Widow.
But no. Black Widow, the character I'm thinking, would Black Widow.
She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jennifer
God,
Walters.
No.
She is a lawyer. She does most of the stuff that a city level hero would do. She fights crime just like Matt Murdock, in the courtroom, and then also outside of the courtroom in New York, taking down thugs.
I would have accepted Luke Cage. I cannot accept She-Hulk.
Luke Cage.
This is a 100-ton plus character.
No,
she's gonna She-Hulk clap and take out the whole damn.
99.
Like she could
He's
solo.
got a character who can scream and blow the world up.
She could solo both teams. Let's be honest. So, as far as Luke Cage goes, his second season on Netflix was really freaking good, and like. I feel like they squandered the first season because Cottonmouth was such a good bad guy.
Yeah.
And then, oh God, I like Luke Cage. Like he's just one of my favorites. So I'm glad you didn't pick him because I'd hate to have to beat the shit out of him.
Well, I didn't pick Luke Cage, and that's why Jen Walters. I figured we'd get thrown out, but I didn't pick him just because I thought trying to keep the powers low. I had to pick Spider-Man because he is, in my opinion, he's New York City's protector. So he's street level, and I got to pick him because why wouldn't you? But Luke Cage, I just kind of was like, okay, I've already got Spider-Man. If I start throwing in Luke Cage, I've got Iron Fister. I've got, you know what I mean? I just felt, that it would be too easy, and I just didn't want to make it too easy. So
I am going to change one of mine.
Okay. Let's hear your swap out.
As entertaining as it would be to have Green Arrow shooting, punching
bag
boxing
arrows?
gloves, arrows, and some mist or whatever. I think that everybody that he chose is probably just going to catch the arrow. Like they're all ninjas. Like they're all like the peak of fighting.
Moon Knight wouldn't catch it. Bing.
Anyway,
that's what he would do.
Anyway, I'm going to change out Green Arrow for Nightwing.
Okay, I had figured that.
I wanted Green Arrow in there because he and Black Canary have a great working chemistry, and it probably would mean something.
But are they in the middle of an argument? They're married.
I don't know.
Maybe it's good you swapped him out.
So, I feel like that chemistry could have helped, much like you have a bad hockey team with a good coach that manages to scrape together a couple of wins. Yeah. I was hoping for that, but I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like Green Arrow is there to get dropped.
Now you've got 3 of the Bat family.
3 of the Bat family.
And probably the 3
better
strongest ones, because I think Nightwing's known as probably the best hand-to-hand fighter besides Batman. Damian's probably the most skilled with not only a weapon, because he's very skilled with a sword, but being brought up as a ninja and his, we want to call it stealth techniques and tactics and all that. You've probably got the 3 top of the line 3 guys.
Jason Todd would have been a mess because with the bullets and everything, he probably would have really messed up some people a lot. He doesn't have the right fighting style, and so I think he would be perceived as an immediate threat and taken off the field as quickly as possible. Yeah. And then I think that...
I can put this down. We talked about it.
Yeah. So...
All right, so you're going to swap out. So we have...
so I've got Batman,
yep,
Deathstroke, Nightwing, Damian Wayne Robin, and Black Canary. And Black Canary also was the leader of Justice League Europe for a little bit. Her fighting ability cannot be understated. She is an excellent hand-to-hand fighter, and she's trained by Batman. So,
those are a good 5. My 5 are Spider-Man, Daredevil, Moon Knight, Iron Fist, and Blade.
This is gonna be a good fight.
All right, so how do we do this? Because if we have all 5 standing there, my thoughts are, off the bat, we're going to have some characters sizing each other up, and if a fight breaks out, it's going to go pretty much one-on-one type deal.
Okay, so I agree. I think that Batman will be field leader on my team.
Okay.
He has some good tacticians on the team, but I think he would be the field leader. I don't know how... I think he would size up and analyze that team very quickly as being a formidable team, and I think he would have Black Canary blast him before anything happened.
So before we even reacted or did anything?
Before anything happens.
No words?
We're there.
No words spoken.
We're there.
Nothing.
And not like kill, not like shred steel blast, but something that's going to give everybody a fairly minor, a decent headache. Okay.
I'm going to counteract that real quick with this. So if that happens, I'm going to assume some sort of gesture, notion, something Batman has to let her know. Hey, do it, type deal.
He'd just go, Canary.
So he says Canary. She goes, and is about to say it. Oh, Spider-Man is extremely smart. We could probably say he's a genius. Okay. So he's analyzing too what's going on. Not only the rest of the guys. Now, I will say most likely Daredevil's known for being smart, probably tactician-wise. Mm-hmm. But I would say out of the 5 characters, Spider-Man is the genius. He's the smartest one. Now, he has worked part of a team. He has also mostly been solo. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I would necessarily have a field general. Batman is a good field general, and he has done it before. He does it for the Justice League all the time. So I don't know if my characters would necessarily be working together very well. Now, that being said, if I was thinking about Spider-Man, reactively thinking of this situation, and you hear Canary, and he looks over and sees, like that, a big breath to do it, he goes, whoo, and whips web right into her face.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. She can't speak. she's also human level strength and is going to have a hell of a time getting that webbing off of her mouth.
Okay.
Action. Because now I think Spider-Man would see if he said that, she reacted, you're the general, you're going to be giving orders. That must be a powerhouse because she was about to just do it.
Yeah.
With all of us standing here. I took out what seemed to be her power because she took a deep breath in. I don't know what she was going to do. Clap, scream, I don't know what. But that, I neutralized that. And then everyone, my thought is, if that happened and they saw that happen with that speed, they're going to be like, oh shit, Spider-Man's the number one enemy.
Yes.
What would you do? Because I'm going to assume that you might send 2 of your best after Spider-Man. If you saw, because if he said, boom, and web that fast, 40 times the speed of a human, that would be, I think, shocking.
Okay. So Deathstroke would immediately move to cut the webbing from her mouth.
Okay.
And move to cover her.
Okay.
And then that would put her in a position to then do the cry, knowing that Deathstroke could recover from it.
Okay.
With cover.
With him as the cover.
Yeah, Deathstroke right in front of her. She does the cry, knowing that whatever damage she does to him, because now there is a threat on the field.
Now, her blast, her scream, is it localized? Or is it like an, because the sound...
Conic. It's conic. So,
Okay.
like, if she can make it a stream tight enough to...
So is
like
she
crack
aiming
it.
for the whole team who is
She's
standing in a
aiming
line like
down
this?
the alley.
So she's aiming down the alley.
She's filling this out.
Okay. So I have, if she's going to be screaming in a convex shape or cone shape type deal, as soon as Spider-Man would notice that he's going to go over there, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm assuming people are starting to take steps toward each other. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of on.
It's on.
Spider-Man already focusing on Canary as being the powerhouse, sees that happen, sees Deathstroke move. He's going to move up and around. So you've got buildings up on the side, right? Deathstroke comes to cover. I don't know what he's covering. Is he using his back? Is he shooting? I don't know what he's doing to like cover because...
Gun or sword. Gun in one hand, sword in the other.
Okay. So as soon as he saw that, I think Daredevil would realize that that also was a threat. And he can see the whole field 360 degrees. So he moves to Deathstroke
Okay.
to counter what he's going to do.
God, this fight is not going right.
Spider-Man obviously sees that. He just goes, I mean, if we're looking at a, what? We'll say, I don't know, however big the buildings are. Spider-Man goes, jumps up off the side of the building and is now above looking down at Canary and Deathstroke, trying to cut, trying to shoot. Also, while Daredevil's dodging the bullets, essentially. He's dodged bullets before and is moving in with his billy clubs. Or his, what the hell they call them? I thought there was a special name they have with the whip between them, whatever the hell they're called.
Nunchuck.
So, that.
Nunchuck clubs.
Nunchuck clubs. So Daredevil's moving in fast. So Deathstroke's going to have to be extremely precise, cut that while shooting and doing all that. Spider-Man's above, sees that happening, because Deathstroke can move pretty fast too. So he's already engaging.
He dropped Flash.
He's already gauging, like firing webs down from the sky coming up. So we're in a cluster F right there. Now, let's put that 4 characters on hold.
Okay.
So we've got Batman, Nightwing, and Damian. Moon Knight, Blade, and Iron Fister.
Yeah.
Let's start that interaction. Because I think the 3 characters, the unfortunate thing I have is the 3 characters I have standing there are comparatively to the 3 you have, not used to fighting with each other, not used to taking orders.
I'm about to get the Bat Family out there.
Right.
Exactly. So they do know how to fight.
I think being that maybe we'll say the only person with any major range, Moon Knight has some things he can throw, but Blade's normally known for carrying weapons on him. He either has some sort of firearm or something like that usually is on him. I think if he were to notice Batman yell out orders, for him being having some military, or not military experience, but he's been around a bunch of characters that have military experience, all that. Okay, knock the general out, cut the head off, maybe the others will be good. So I think he might try to open fire on Batman. The other 2, I'm not 100% sure. I believe Moon Knight might move to engage the closest person, because if you're a fan of the comics, he's not exactly 100% stable mentally. So I think if a fight were to go down, he's just like, first one, let's go. And he moves in and relies on his suit a lot, actually. and just is going to go after. So I don't know who he's closest to. What are we going to do? Like, who's closest to who? Because I think whoever's closest to Moon Knight, he's going to directly engage. Then we have my Blade trying to take Batman out, start shooting maybe. And then Iron Fister, I think, is still trying to just gauge what is going to happen and what his move should be. I'm going to assume if he sees Moon Knight go, he sees Blade open fire, he's like, all right, that eliminates you two. I got to focus on whichever one they're not attacking. That's my thought process of how this would play out right now.
All right. So, Batman would definitely drop smoke. I feel like that would be immediate. So in the group that he was in, right there with everybody there, smoke's dropped.
Okay.
So targeting outside the smoke would be difficult.
Yeah. Okay.
The order would still be for Canary to cry, and it would be harder to hit her as they were concealed by smoke, even for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
In fact, the only person I would say at this point who could confidently hit anybody would be Daredevil.
Okay.
The
The smoke wouldn't affect him at all.
And I don't think that Deathstroke could even react all that well. Like, he would see Daredevil move potentially through the smoke, but he would not have first attack. Daredevil would have first attack.
Just because of
Period.
the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think by seeing that, Batman would also know that Daredevil has either echolocation, because he wouldn't know he's blind by appearance.
Correct.
But he would have either echolocation or some sort of vision that would allow him to see through an obstructed item. Batman would make that observation quick enough, I believe.
And I just real quick feel like his observation, that being that he doesn't know Daredevil, would be that he has technology in his helmet.
That could be it. So yes, it would either be a vision that would allow him to see through smoke, which Batman probably has as well, or he has some other means of seeing through the smoke.
Look at the Arkham games.
Right. So I feel like Batman would notice that very quickly. And with Batman dropping smoke and being reasonably undercover, I don't think he's going to be concerned about bullets being fired in, especially if other characters are moving to the smoke to attack on Blade's team.
Right.
A coordinated attack from the Bat family is inevitable. So I think we're going to see knives and batarangs come out of the smoke, targeting people that hadn't entered the fray yet.
Okay.
In addition, I think that we're going to see something slippery hit the ground. So anybody who's going to be fighting on the ground isn't going to have good footing.
Okay.
And Batman, knowing that they're throwing out some kind of oil or something like that, he's got a tread to cut through that. So he's immediately going to have an advantage on a ground fight on that.
All right.
So the Bat family's coming out of the smoke right now.
Okay.
And
batarangs flying out.
Batarangs,
knives flying out.
In the lead, Bat family coming out of the smoke. Dinah's still in the smoke. Deathstroke is still in the smoke. But if Dinah has not been hit and is not obstructed, she might fire off something.
A scream.
Yes, knowing that the Bat family's out there.
So not
Deathstroke's in front of her.
scream.
Right. It will be enough to disorient.
Knock back.
And I also think that Batman, potentially Damian, would be aware that they're on the team, so they may be wearing some type of sonic disrupting earplugs or something.
So here's my counter. I'll give you that. That sounds good. All that sounds extremely good. I think we'll go on the Batarang knife level real fast. I think what they're going to notice is Batarangs fly out. I think Fister. I'm going to keep calling him that.
Fister.
Iron Fist dodges. I think he's skilled enough combat-wise to dodge. He dodges because I think if you've got a pillar of smoke, Blade can't see in, he's shooting, he stops shooting, smoke comes in. Now all of a sudden Batarangs fly out, something spills out on the ground, right? Batarangs fly out. I think Moon Knight tanks it with his suit. He just runs through, he's like, bum, bum. He's like, what the hell was that? And then I think Blade may or may not, depending on his agility, but if he's shooting and he stops shooting, all of a sudden Batarang flies out, I think Iron Fist dodges, I think Blade doesn't. Mm-hmm. I do think he's got super strength and super speed, but I think he also, to a degree, at least from the little bit I've read in comics, also is kind of known for his durability to a degree, and he tanks it. And maybe could have dodged it, but I think he takes a good shot. So he might have a batarang or a knife sticking out of him that he now has to attend to.
Those were not thrown to hit. Like, they were thrown to distract.
Okay, all right.
So,
well, in that case,
like, if it hit him, it was an accidental hit.
okay, if that case, either still or both ways, I think he gets hit. I think if one hits Moon Knight, it just bounces off his suit, adamantium suit. And then I think Fister, if one came, he just dodged it like that. But the issue now is no visibility, don't know where they came from, what is on the floor, and now it's slippery. I don't know. I'll get back to that. Here's the one thing I have. So on the Canary, Deathstroke, Daredevil, Spider-Man fight, as we progress that, we have the webbing getting cut from her mouth. Daredevil's probably moved in close enough through the smoke because he can see fairly well to try and land a blow on Deathstroke. He may even be successful at that. Let's say he even does.
I'd say he is.
He lands a strike as she screams. They all get knocked back. And I think if Bat Family even gets knocked back, maybe their ears are protected, but everyone kind of gets thrown off.
The shockwave is going to hit him.
I mean, even Moon Knight to me would be, he might have some sort of protection. I don't know, but they're all going to get knocked down. Oh, wait. We forgot. Spider-Man was above.
Yeah.
So he's up, coming down above. The scream comes out like that. He now knows you're a Sonic. You're Banshee, essentially, because he would know what Banshee's all about from the X-Men. So he knows that's number one priority. Everyone's knocked down except Canary and Spider-Man. Issue here, Canary doesn't know where Spider-Man is. Spider-Man knows where Canary is. He comes down with webbing, hits her in the back of the shoulders, turns, spins, and throws.
All right, Canary's out. Unless she recovers quickly.
And I don't think...
So was her scream cut off by Spider-Man attacking?
I thought that if you were doing a debilitating scream, but not a wanting it to be a killing blow, it'd be a ah. That's it. Like a boom, one kind of shockwave, knocks everyone down, dazes them. Not a continued scream in my head. You tell me different if you saw it differently. That's how I envisioned it. And if that's the case, the scream happened. It was happened. Spider-Man's like, oh, boom, reacts and fires his webs. Now, again, my opinion is Spider-Man, knowing Spider-Man as we do, he does not know their capabilities quite yet. He knows she's a Sonic Screamer now, but still doesn't know her capabilities. I do not think he would. I mean, with Spider-Man's strength, if he webbed you, turned and slammed like that, he'd kill you. I don't think he's going for a killing blow.
I don't think he would either, but I think he is going to hit her hard enough to knock her out.
I think she's hurt. And that, I think, takes her out of the fight. The issue is the smoke is dissipating. Canary has been dealt with. Spider-Man lands on the ground. She hits the ground. Deathstroke, Daredevil, the Bat Family, and my guys are getting up. But my guys are ears ringing. Your guy, Bat Family, is okay. Did Deathstroke prepare for that as well?
Deathstroke will heal quicker. So like
his ears might be ringing while...
Right, his ears are ringing. Okay. But he's going to recover quicker because...
Daredevil's fucked right now.
Right, he's scrambled.
He's on his hands and knees hurting. Because any loud noises, usually extremely loud noises, especially ones he's not ready for, he may have even seen her, like the thing gets split and her start to scream, but what is he? I mean, there's not much he can really do in that time frame from a scream. So I think he's very hurt.
Probably.
I think it's going to take at least a minute or so for him to fully recover. That's a lot of time to pretty much train
This fight will be over in a minute.
So tell me what happens from that point.
Okay, so... Batman is going to want to close the distance on Blade, period, because Blade's got the bullets.
Firearms.
And so Batman is going to fire a grappling hook to drag Blade into the oil, and then he's going to lay on a hard clothesline. And then he's going to tell Nightwing to distract. Nightwing is going to throw a beeping, like batarang, whatever, a nightarang, whatever the hell they call it, above Spider-Man's head, while Damian throws an exploding, like a sticky bomb exploding thing directly where Spider-Man was, because they will have heard Canary's Canary's cry, stop.
Yes.
So they're going to know that the most dangerous player that's in this alley is there.
Okay.
And so the Spider-Man will look at the batarang that's going over his head on purpose while the one that Damien threw is going to be coming right after.
Okay.
Now, they don't know about the spider sense. I don't know how quickly he's going to react to that. But the battering that's going over his head is set to explode above his head.
Okay.
So either way, it's fairly dangerous. He's jumping into an explosion or he's getting hit.
I say that his spider sense probably would warn him, and he realizes, I think, at the last second what is happening and is able to move slightly, still gets hit.
Okay,
I think
by
he gets
the
hit.
glue or the explosion?
I think it would be if there's one coming above his head and one coming at him like this, and it's more of a, oh, I just realized now what's going to happen, because a lot of times the spider sense, they're writers again. They you know, it's been directional. He knows exactly where it's coming from.
The most dangerous thing.
Right, or he's been written to where it's like he gets an idea like this side, but doesn't have specifics. Yeah. So again, the writers, it's unfortunate. I think in my mind, how I would think of Spider-Man is he's got two dangers coming at him, and one is more prominent than the other. He reacts to the one first, then as he reacts to it, it's kind of like his spider sense is like, oh, like that. And he goes, shh, and tries to twist in midair, still gets hit, but is able to kind of not necessarily absorb, but roll with the blast.
Okay.
And so my thought is, if it's up against a wall, that goes boom, boom. He flies into a wall. Maybe goes through a brick wall.
Okay.
And here's my thought. They know he's fast. They know he's agile. That's about as far as they know.
The spider sense is impossible to know about.
Well, not only that, you knock someone like that through a brick wall, I think that even the Bat family, specifically Bruce or Batman's engaged with Blade, so the only two to see it are Nightwing and Damian. They're like...
And if they see it. They may not have
even see him, but if they did, we got him out of the fight. That's what they think.
Yep. Most likely.
Most likely would be my opinion. So my thought is, while they did that, you've still got Moon Knight running at you, and you've got Iron Fist running. Now, Moon Knight may be affected by the oil that has been on the ground. He might be a little slippy, might try and jump, might do stuff. I think Iron Fist is skilled enough, martial arts wise, and balance. It's all about balance, all about being that. He realizes what that is and makes his move and is able to either jump onto the trash cans that we talked about, jumped off the wall, and goes for a hit on whichever one was closest to him. Because Moon Knight, because then Moon Knight was just charging whoever was closest to him, and that now would be Damian. So Moon Knight, actually, that would make sense because Damian also was a kid, and the whole thing we talked about, would he hit a kid? Yeah. I don't think Moon Knight would give a crap. So Moon Knight's just like...
I don't think he would either.
And
he'd definitely pick his kid personality. It'd just feel like a playground fight.
So as they target Spider-Man, thinking that, okay, he is the number one damage dealer, threat, they go do that. That allowed Moon Knight and Iron Fist to close the distance. I'm not saying they're landing blows, but they have closed the distance now. So they are in their face. So from that point on, I would say Spider-Man is knocked through a building. Canary is out. Daredevil's on his knees, and I'm assuming Deathstroke has landed a blow that incapacitated him, because I assume if Daredevil is on his hands and knees and Deathstroke's like, whew, okay, and looks over and sees him on his knees, he's like, take him out. That would be his number one priority, because that's the guy who struck him.
Right. So
we've got
he probably would hit him in the back of the head while he's down.
So we have Daredevil out, Canary out, Spider-Man, they think he's out, through a building. Moon Knight and Iron Fist, I would call it, if we're talking Dungeons & Dragons, they have the advantage right now because they have moved in, closed the distance while they were focusing on throwing and have to turn and react to both them coming in. Batman has just laid out Blade, and I don't
know if he's down for the count.
I would say Batman hits him hard, and that Batman doesn't really, what do you call it with his punches? He's not Spider-Man.
He doesn't pull his punch,
so he hit him hard, drop him to move on. He sees Blade get hit and start getting up, and he goes, okay, something's a little different with you, and Blade goes, like that, and he sees the teeth, he sees the way that he's reacting, and I think Batman would immediately go, he looks vampiric to me. And if that's the case, I know I've seen and dealt with some vampires in my day, that means probably mildly augmented strength, durability, blah, 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 and he's going to, in his genius level brain, go through all the different ways to counteract a vampire.
Okay. So, at this point...
And I think Moon Knight's throwing a punch at Damian's head as he's running in.
I think Damian is going to do enough to either shoulder the blow or roll out of the blow.
I agree. He would dodge.
To where it's not going to be a hard enough connection to disable Damien.
I agree.
Moon Knight is more than capable of delivering that blow, but Damien is quick enough.
I agree.
To dodge that. But I think it will be enough to have Damien focus on that fight now.
Yes, I agree.
I think that after Deathstroke hits Daredevil in the back of the head and sees Batman drop Blade and Blade stand up, Deathstroke's going to immediately pull out his gun and start laying into.
Firing at Blade.
Yeah, at Blade. Like two-handed.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I think Batman would have cleared that particular area thinking Blade was down because most people can't take that punch. And he would have gone toward Moon Knight because Moon Knight is directly attacking his son. He has more faith in Nightwing to get the job done. Okay. Now, does Iron Fister's hand glow?
It does glow when he charges it.
Okay, but so far we haven't seen any glow.
Correct. And I think if I were writing this as a writer, I would think that Iron Fist's first interaction, because he has not even thrown a punch yet.
Right.
His first interaction with Nightwing would, I think would catch Nightwing off guard because of the level of skill that Iron Fist has just straight in martial arts, and the vice versa. Mm-hmm. I think they both would fight immediately. Like punch thrown, Nightwing blocks, throws one and goes, got you right here, and Iron Fist goes and blocks it, and he goes, oh shoot, that was fast.
That's going to be a good fight.
That to me would be what literally would just happen. It would be a whack, I got him, oh I didn't, they step back and are both like, all right, this is going to be a scrap. That's what I think would happen there. And that's just a start.
Okay.
Damien and Moon Knight would whiff some punches, I think. Damien would dodge. Damien would do blah,
Damien
blah, blah.
wouldn't do any damage, but could hold him off.
Well, and I would think Damien would come in and be like, okay, got you. Maybe it wouldn't be a killing blow, although Damien's known to kind of go over the edge, but say he whips his sword out, whips a batarang out, and goes to slice him, and Moon Knight just takes it, bounces off his adamantium suit, and Damien's like, oh shoot, dodges again, hits him again, pressure point. Well, his suit just takes it, and Moon Knight's like, all right, keeps throwing punches. I think Damien could definitely hold him off. I think the issue there would be, now Damien's running through his head, how do I get through this suit? Because right now this suit is seemingly on par, if not better than Batman in terms of technology.
Better than Batman's. It's
but I'm saying Damien's thinking this might be on par, if not better. Like, how do I get through this? And I think he might be thinking, okay, I fought my father before. I've done this. He's not on the same skill level. But his suit is making up for it. How do I get through it? And I think that's where that fight's going to play out.
And here's where I think the Bat family teamwork is going to come in.
Okay.
I don't think Nightwing can outlast Iron Fist, and we haven't seen his power yet.
Not yet.
So without power, that's a tough fight.
I think they're
for
equal.
Nightwing. Yeah, I would say that it's a pretty good hand-to-hand. But Nightwing is going to manipulate Iron Fister backwards.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Damien is going to manipulate Moon Knight backwards.
Okay.
So essentially,
pushing them back to back.
Iron Fister and Moon Knight will be fighting back to back.
All right.
Where Batman will then hit them both with a bolero and tie them together.
Okay. All
that
right.
tightens. So it's going to be wrapped at their legs and then again or higher on their legs.
This is perfect. Okay. All right. So that happens. Then I say probably two simultaneous strikes from both kids. We'll just call them Bat kids.
Yeah.
Land.
Okay.
And I think Batman then would notice that I think even a punch from Nightwing wouldn't drop Moon Knight. I don't think.
No.
I think the punch Nightwing's
from
fighting
Robin
from Damien would not knock out Moon Knight.
No.
Especially with his suit on and everything. I just don't think that would knock him out. And I think Batman would realize, okay, something's up with his suit, same as Damien did. We may need to focus him, not realizing yet that Iron Fist has, we'll call it superpower, has these powers. But I think what you just brought up now, their legs are now tied together. I think you would need someone with super strength to rip it off, but you can't. These are tight. These are steel cables, right?
And they continue tightening.
And they continue tightening as they struggle. Who would struggle? Moon Knight. Because he's get this off me.
Yeah.
So he's trying to do that. He's absorbing blows from Damien, trying to knock him out. He's also trying to fend him off. Iron Fist is probably being like, calm the down, man.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to get out of this. Also trying to fend Nightwing off. Advantage now, Bat Family. So think this is here and now where we see Iron Fist pull out his chi. This is where I think...
Here we go. This is what I needed to get out.
This is where I think, and I think it works. I think this is where he would realize, I gotta step it up right now, because he either blocks, takes a hit, and he's like, God, I can't do both at the same time. I gotta get out of this situation. Moon Knight's making this ridiculous. So he knocks Moon Knight out. No, I'm just kidding. Wouldn't that be funny? And then he's just dragging around a body.
Stop struggling, man.
That'd be funny as hell. But so, and my thought is right then and there, he deals with the bola on his legs. I think he's able to maybe do something where he's able to block and push away Nightwing just enough to get just enough room where he focuses on his hand and is able to summon his chi, do whatever he needs to do. He has shown to not just punch through walls, but through his chi, he's also been able to break right through steel, pretty much cut through it with his hand. And if he's able to have just enough room, he summons his chi and is able to snap the steel cables around his hand. His first show of power has just been shown. His ace in the hole has been shown. And I'll keep it more related to where instead of when I was doing research on him, Iron Fist has been known to summon his chi and augment his strength and augment his speed, essentially like whole thing. I think we keep it more in realms of he is a master martial artist. When he summons his chi, it's in his hand.
Yes.
Whether it's to break things, punch things, it's a summon chi.
And both hands, not like a first season of Iron Fist.
But I'm saying, let's not do I need this summon chi. I am now on Superman's level.
He can just bring
you know what I mean? We're going hands.
Yes.
So Batman and I believe Nightwing, maybe not Damian since he's punching the shit out of Moon Knight, realize that he goes, huh! And orange glow, yellow glow, boom, snaps the steel cables.
Okay.
Moon Knight's free. Iron Fist is free. Moon Knight still has absorbed quite a bit of punishment from Damian. I just don't see Damian getting through his suit without some extracurricular activities. That means Batman or somebody else stepping in. So I think Moon Knight continues pressing. And my only issue is, when does Damian make a mistake? So far, Moon Knight has been missing because Damian is extremely skilled. Miss, punch, miss, pressure point, God, batarang, sparks fly. And Moon Knight's just, Well, and Moon Knight also carries around his bow staff. It's like a trenchant. What the hell you call that?
Yeah.
But he's got also a bow staff, so he most likely will pull that off his leg holster and start trying to hit him with that as well. When does Damian make a mistake?
So
if, and I'm okay to say that Damian might not even make a mistake in this, what has transpired, 30 to 45 seconds?
Let's see what happens now.
Okay.
The alarms in the bank are going off.
Oh, God. Okay. So AIM and Intergang has
AIM
shown up.
and Intergang are robbing the bank.
Okay.
And maybe some of the heroes involved in this have realized that the other group they're fighting against isn't AIM/Intergang.
Okay.
So, there are some characters I think that are in this fight that are in to win a fight. Like, I don't know if they care that much. There are others who I think would do what they were originally there to do.
Yes.
That might realize that mistakes have been made.
Okay.
So, I will say that Nightwing is distracted by the alarms.
Okay.
I would say that Batman is also distracted by the alarms.
I don't think Damian would be.
Damian is not distracted by the alarms.
Deathstroke would be.
Deathstroke is not distracted by the alarms.
Okay.
So Batman and Nightwing are moving toward the alarm because they realize that they've made a mistake at this point.
Okay.
And Deathstroke is engaged with Blade. And
probably both shooting at each other.
And Damian is not going to get through Moon Knight's armor, but he probably has figured by seeing Iron Fist and Moon Knight tied up that he can be restrained. So I think Damian would move to hit him with a bolero or something to restrain him.
I was almost thinking, too, that Damian would notice, even if we're talking about maybe a Damian who's a tad bit older, who's a little more controlled, might realize that his armor's of a level to where I can hit him harder. Not necessarily with fists, but I can hit him with my explosive batarang direct on. I could do some more damaging blows. and he might do that.
Well, I think if he saw Moon Knight tank some batarangs, it just bounced right off of him with nothing. And the feel that he gets after a few punches, I think he's going to realize that, like, if it's carbonadium or whatever it is,
Adamantium, we'll
he's
call it.
not getting through. So the most effective thing thus far that has been witnessed is the tying him up, and the only reason it didn't work is because of Iron Fist. So he's going to tie him up.
Okay. All right. So I could see that happening because I think in terms of skill level, hand to hand, I think Damien's better than Moon Knight. So I think he would be able to tie him up, or trick him into making a move to where now he can get that wrapped around him and his arm or something, and just start working away to where he's fully wrapped up. While that happens, if Nightwing and Batman are now focused on that, Iron Fist at that time, I'm not sure exactly what he would do. I think he would be interested in the alarm. Now, Ace in the Hole for me comes out of the building that he just got blown through. Comes out, his costume is singed.
Okay.
He's okay. He's all right. He's taking harder hits. He comes out, realizes there's also the alarm going on, sees Batman and Nightwing move toward it. I think Peter would realize, this is what I'm here for. They're moving towards it. I think I should too. He moves definitely towards the bank with the alarm going off.
Okay.
Because he realizes what needs to be done.
Yeah.
So I think he would move on. I think Iron Fist would want to move on. So I think Iron Fist would be worried about Deathstroke and Damien killing, if not, because he sees Deathstroke using firearms.
Yeah.
He thinks Deathstroke is going to kill. He's trying to kill. He's seen Damien use batarangs and stuff. He's not sure, but maybe he was willing to kill too. Damien has a sword strapped to his hilt, strapped to his belt. He's maybe looking, sees Spider-Man move, goes, okay, our best weapon is moving towards that. I think he can handle that. I'm going to try and help my team here. Okay. Because Blade's held down under fire. Deathstroke's firing, trying to move in. They're probably focused like this. He maybe is behind a trash can. Deathstroke is moving in on him. Damien just wrapped up Moon Knight. He turns, sees Moon Knight fall to the ground, struggling, trying to get through, just making the freaking things tighter. And he can't get through it and everything. I think he would assess the situation, say, I think Blade can handle it. I got to take Damien out before he kills Moon Knight or finds a way through his suit, figures out a way through his suit. So I think Iron Fist would move to Damien.
Yes.
I think Blade, I think he's probably right. Blade could probably handle himself in the firearm situation if they're having a gun battle. So right now, if they're having a gun battle, that's that. Iron Fist and Damien meet. Damien wraps him up, pulls it tight, whatever, and he's like, chill the F out. You know, I got you. Looks up, and Fister is moving in.
I don't think Damien wants to get fisted. I don't know if Damien can beat Iron Fist. In fact, I think Batman versus Iron Fist without power would be a good fight.
I agree.
I think Iron Fist chi
in the comics
punch, yes,
not the show.
I think that Iron Fist chi punch would probably be the difference because I think he is going to get a hit off.
I think he would land, yes. I agree.
So I would also say in this particular instance, he is definitely not going to be aiming to kill because he saw this group come together. I think you're right. I think he is more concerned about the safety of the people that he's with. And so I feel like if he were to summon the chi and get a hit off on Damien, which he will eventually, it would be enough to knock him out for a bit.
I agree. I agree that if they went hand to hand, Damien would hold his own for a little bit, but I think all it would take would be one punch from Iron Fist. And he's out, and I think because of his skill level, he would land that.
Yep.
And also being Damien's extremely skilled, but I don't think he's on Bruce's level.
No.
So I think Fister lands, and he's out. The counter to that, which I feel like we're being pretty fair this whole fight.
Yeah,
counter to that is I think Blade and Deathstroke run out of ammo. Blade comes around the corner thinking, I've got this now. You ran out of bullets, and charges him. They engage in hand-to-hand combat. Blade is also known to use a sword. Blade is also known to use a sword. So is Deathstroke. I say Deathstroke's swords come out, Blade's sword come out. They engage. I think Blade might be able to hold his own for a little bit, but I think Deathstroke wins that fight, and I unfortunately don't think it lasts a long time.
No.
I think Deathstroke takes Blade out pretty fast. Now, the issue I have here is these are two characters that have been seen to kill. Does Deathstroke kill in this fight? Are we doing killing blows? Because if we do, then my next part of the story I'm about to tell changes.
I think that Deathstroke has the opportunity to kill in this particular instance. I think he's also seen Batman clear out. Deathstroke is not like without reason.
Agreed.
And I do think that once he gets past the bloodlust and sees the mistake of the fight, I think that he would do the butt of the sword hit hard enough to know that this guy is going to heal, or a cut that's deep enough to he's going to heal, but he's not going to continue fighting.
Okay.
Because I don't think Deathstroke is going to give somebody the opportunity that he can't predict the outcome for.
Okay.
And I think Blade would be very difficult to predict the outcome for. I don't know how much he would have watched of Iron Fist to measure if he is an honorable person. So I would be very hesitant to say who would win in that fight. And I almost feel like Deathstroke wouldn't engage in that fight if he didn't feel as if his life was threatened.
I'm sorry, with Iron Fist?
Deathstroke is not going to engage with Iron Fist if he doesn't feel like his life is threatened.
Okay.
And I think, honestly, dropping Blade would probably be the end of the fight. I think that he would square with Iron Fist, probably put his swords away to see what Iron Fist is going to do. And I don't think Iron Fist would engage if the move against Blade was a knockout move.
Correct.
And not a killing blow.
I think that that's where I was going to go with the fork in the road. Is I think if Iron Fist turns around after dropping Damian and sees a knockout blow and then head chopped off, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Iron Fist would engage with everything he has.
He would stop him.
And I think Iron Fist, if he was bloodlusting after seeing a friend, we'll call it, get killed, beheaded, with his chi on that level, I think he could take even Deathstroke down. That being said, if he goes knockout and just drops him and puts his sword down, and Iron Fist sees that he could have killed him but didn't, and puts his sword away, turns around, they just kind of look at each other, I don't think Iron Fist would engage, and I think he might go and turn away towards the bank.
Yeah, I think you're right. So I think we could safely say that would probably be the end of the fight at that point. Daredevil's down, Black Canary's down, Blade's down.
I think Iron Fist checks on Daredevil, Deathstroke checks on Black Canary.
Yeah, and Damian is down too.
True.
So there's going to be a quick checkup, and then you've got Iron Fister and Spider-Man and Batman and Nightwing moving towards the bank. I think that those four can stop that crime.
I think they can.
I will say, based on like the way that fight unfolded from the beginning, if it fought to its conclusion, last man standing, Spider-Man's the last man standing.
I think so, and it's kind of unfortunate when you bring in city level heroes, because I do think, unfortunately or fortunately for me, is just that he is a step above all other city level heroes. I mean, when there are a few comics where he literally goes all out, and when you see him go all out, you can't help but sit there and be amazed. I mean, the Sinister Six, I'll just make a real quick thing. He's gone up against Sinister Six multiple times. The Avengers in the Ultimate Comics, and the Ultimate Comics version of the Sinister Six is stronger than the 616. And the Avengers got destroyed, and Tony Stark, I think it was Tony, that makes a comment, the Ultimates. Yeah. Tony makes a comment like, how the hell did this 16-year-old kid withstand these guys when we got our asses handed to us? Point is Spider-Man, when he's going all out, it kind of is on another level. And against the teams that we had, this is going to be a crazy statement, but I would say put everyone, all 9 of the other characters against Spider-Man, I think Spider-Man would have a chance to actually win that fight.
Iron Fister is a problem, no matter what.
Iron Fist is a problem. But the thing with Iron Fist is he can't fight at range. Spider-Man can.
Yeah, and another thing, that you need to consider is Spider-Man's reaction time and his aim with webbing is astounding. There have been comics where somebody has a gun, they pull the trigger, and Spider-Man can react and shoot a webbing quick enough to web the bullet in the gun. So a bullet moving this far is all the time that Spider-Man needs to stop a bullet. And that's just untouchable. And then plus, somebody that can punch with 20 tons of force behind it is going to kill what he punches.
I mean, he'll
and
shatter
granted,
anything.
he pulls punches, but he will hit Moon Knight or Batman or anybody hard enough with the backhand that they won't be awake for a couple of days.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think Spider-Man can be stopped by most I think really the only person in this entire assortment who can stop him and is Daredevil.
Yes, yeah. But that being said, I also think that what you mentioned too is if he got caught off guard somehow, I think Canary could probably drop him. But the issue with that is he going to get caught off guard? I just don't think he's going to get caught off guard. And that opening thing I thought was really cool because I think that kind of showcased, and I think it's doable, what Spider-Man could do. He sees her scream or breathe in, goes like that. I think in that moment I just did that, he could whip a web.
Yeah.
And that web's flying into her mouth, face, and it's going to be hard to get that out.
Yeah.
So
yes.
I think that
doesn't wash out of your hair very easily.
No. And she has a mustache. So no, I'm just kidding. But no, I think that was awesome. I think we came to a conclusion. I think both sides got some wreckage going on. And I actually thoroughly enjoyed that. I don't think it was as brutal as you guys may have anticipated. Maybe we were going to throw some blows, but unfortunately, both of us being such fans of comics, I think we kind of know how things go.
That and none of these people are killing anybody. Blade and Deathstroke, maybe.
You're correct.
Given the right amount of money. But it was going to be a fairly fair fight.
I think that was awesome. I hope you guys really enjoyed that too, because I feel like I was kind of worried coming into this one. I was like, oh man, we're gonna throw some blows, but it was great. That was a lot of fun. So in the end, even though super civil, I still won. That's all that matters. We got it. Spider-Man, the best. No, but that was fun, and I'm a fan of both Marvel and DC. I love these style debates. I think that was awesome. Hopefully you guys did as well.
Yo, I had fun beating your ass with a bat. Man.
All right. How about this? How about you guys let us know in the comments below who you think won, and also let us know who your team of 5 would be, either Marvel or DC. Maybe we missed some characters. So let us know in the comments below. I think that would be awesome. Now, really quickly, let's give you a preview of next week's episode. That's going to be number 8 of Geeks Drop the Gauntlet. And in that episode, we are going to be discussing our favorite comic book storyline of the hero that won it all apparently today, Spider-Man. He's got a rich and amazing backstory history of comics that I screwed that whole lineup, but you know what, who cares? He's got just a huge history behind him, so it's gonna be awesome to dive into some of our favorite storylines and see which one comes out on top. So that's gonna be next week. Tune in to find out, and thanks again for stopping by and watching. Really appreciate that. If you like this content, please do consider hitting that like and subscribe button, and most of all, stay geeky.